Please read this disclaimer carefully before proceeding further. Welcome traders to this week's analysis of gold XAUUSD. My name is Vic. Thanks for joining me here. Gold, as expected, was little confusing to start with in the past week, but it gave us very good opportunities towards the end. And before we come to that, let's see what it has been doing on weekly, monthly, and higher time frames. So, in fact, actually, instead of looking at this chart, let me go and show you what I envisage because those levels are still intact. We found these levels in the previous analysis. So if you are interested in knowing more about how we found these levels and what we talked about, go and check out previous week's analysis and even before that. Like, all of them are available on YouTube channel. You can watch them in series, and that should give you enough information and a good picture. So on monthly time frame, what we have is that this market is still this has turned green blue. So this is kind of like confusing at the moment. Why? Because the overall structure is kind of like it's just consolidation going up down up, and now it came down and created this double bottom here, and now what we have is that market is kind of consolidating in a tight range. So ultimately sooner or later it's going to break, right? So this blue color, even though this looks like a bullish one, but because there is no candle which is actually like above or below it, I'll treat this as a consolidation because this is in the middle of like all of these candles have bodies going through it. This was a clear blue structure, right? So at that point in time it was kind of bullish. So right now this is simply in consolidation with a good range here. This is very important level of 1830, and we also have a bottom range around here because the market has not been able to close below this level here, which is near about let me put a line here instead of me drawing it. um, so let me quickly put a line here. So this is very important level. Market has not been able to close on monthly basis on below 1752 level here. Okay, now this is still part of this entire W pattern. The whole W pattern is still intact, and the market fell to its first profit potential. It can still, if it breaks through the 1681, it can still fall down to one of these levels of 1550 or so. That is very, very important. 1550 level is 1550 and 1570. That area is very important if the market continues to fall down. And one of the reasons why it will happen is it can happen is because the market is creating another M pattern. So this midpoint of 1680 is very, very important, and if it falls then we can have this possibility. It can take few months because we are looking at monthly time frame, and it may not even completely happen because if the market structure changes, then and if it turns bullish, then we have a W pattern which can push the price into near about 2000 area or even higher than that. So that will be all-time high. I covered some of these like already in previous analysis, but just to give you a brief idea. Okay, so on weekly time frame, we still have this target open, and we still have this target open on bearish side of things. But you see what has happened on the on weekly time frame is that this has started to turn blue. Okay, which means that there can be a little bit of correction. There can be a bullish movement to the upside. However, if you pay attention to what a curve here that is still red, that means the overall higher time frame trend is still bearish, but there can be bullishness on the weekly time frame. Okay, if it is going to be bullish on weekly time frame, then it is going to go through some of the important levels and structures. Right now what happened here is that market came into water curve and it started to push back down because that acts as a resistance. It also hit this the trend line, and it has not been able to close above. So even though this is still bullish, we are still in a kind of like congestion area. So it has to like either start to move up into 1830 level, which has started to which has been acting as a very strong resistance, and that is basically a triple top sort of area, which is also a liquidity area. What it means is that the market makers, what they can do is move up a little bit just above 1830, grab all the stop losses and come back down. Okay, and that can happen because of this bullishness on the weekly time frame. So this can give us a very good long opportunity on the weekly time frame. If you follow the weekly time frame and start to plan your trades on smaller time frames, this can give you very good trade opportunity to the long side. And but remember, we are still bearish because this is still red. um, there is another opportunity on the bull side. If the market actually breaks through this 1830 level on weekly time frame, then what we can see is that market could be actually forming a W pattern, and we have this target available here. White dot is the target, and the market can actually come into 1887, 1886, or 1866 area, because we have gaps available there as well. Those gaps have been there for a long period of time now, but there are a few gaps on the lower side which have been there for more than a year now. So sooner or later it's gonna they all of them are gonna get filled. So it's quite possible that market may go up here, correct the liquidity, collect, like do this entire W pattern and then come back down, and in that process it will still be completing an M pattern. Okay, so all of these are important, and that is why we need to look at both sides, because if the market starts to give us a good opportunity on the long side, we can go long, and if the market starts to roll down, then we can go for short. What we need to have is actually plan for both sides, because we can make money on both sides. If we get an opportunity to go long, I will go long to make money, right? Now, so irrespective of your bias, always follow the market, always have a plan so that you can make money. Now, if this is the weekly time frame, let me go to the daily time frame, what it shows. On daily time frame, what happened here is the market created a very good W pattern here. And this W pattern is kind of complete here, but there is an extended version which can actually push the price above 1830. So that is a very good liquidity area where we can collect stop losses. So market can actually push in there and then start to fall. But because the market completed a smaller W pattern, that's why we saw move down. And this is what I shared in the Telegram group as well. So if you remember, this is the W pattern. And I gave the target of 1793 and 1797 based on the what and research. That was obviously completed. Market even went higher than that. And after that, and this is what I posted here. This was the update. There were two scenarios. One was that there was a bearish M pattern and there was a bullish W pattern. And I said if 1875, sorry, 1785 was broken, then 1792 or 1793 was the target. And we already have been looking at 1806 as a very important level. This is the FCP zone. So the what market did, it broke through 1785. It reached our profit target on the bull side. Okay, this is what I was talking about. You need to have plan for both, because if the market has started to go below some of these levels, like 1767, then I would have started to look for a short. If the because market broke through 1785, I started to look for long. You need to have plan for both sides so that you can make money on either, irrespective of whether I want to say that the market is definitely going to go down on monthly or weekly basis. Who cares? You need to have plan for both sides, depend on your time frame. Now, after that, we looked into what yeah, so the market actually did reach our target, and it went straight into this FCP zone. In fact, around that news time, they always use the news to fulfill their targets and collect the stop losses. So around that time, that news was expected. I don't know which one was it, but there was some kind of news expected, and the market went into this FCP zone, went a little bit higher, collected all the stop losses, and this is what happened. Um, they closed one of the gaps which was left a long time ago, and then started to and then completed one of the W patterns, and this is what happened. They never closed above 1806. This is a level which we have been looking at for months now. Actually, not yeah, for a few months now. 1806. So they created this extended W pattern, collected all the stop losses, and almost immediately fell down. And if I show you where we are right now, we are if I go to the daily time frame and open this 4 hour time frame and show you where we are. the market fell down immediately, and we were able to get near about um, 180 pips of profit on this short. This was the what and we saw signal sell 180 pips rolling. This was the target, first target, and the second target was based on 15 minutes time frame, which was there. So sell here fell almost immediately, and because we knew that this level was important, this was FCP zone, and we had an extended W pattern, though that showed like the market could be falling down, and this is what I posted here um, as well. The gold has formed an extended W pattern and reached FCP zone 1806. Must wait for the confirmation if you're looking for short. Okay, and the gaps, there are few gaps which are left, which are going to be filled. So there were few gaps which were left here, and ultimately all of them were filled. Sorry, two of them were filled. So this one was filled once the market came down. Let me show you this one. So once the market came down, this was filled. This one is still available. So what we expect is the market can still come down to close this gap. I know this is showing that the gap is filled here, but in my feed, in my MT4 feed, it is not filled. So market can still fall down. In this entire process, what has happened here is that market has actually turned bullish for some time at least. There is now a possibility that it can actually do something like this. This W pattern is complete. And if the market does not actually keep on falling down, ultimately this area is going to be cleared as well. This is bad behavior. Ultimately, at some point in time, the market is going to come down to clear this up. So if the market continues to fall down, then it's fine. Otherwise, what will happen is it can go back up to 1830, the level that we discussed, to collect the stop losses and liquidity. So how do we trade this? What's the trading plan, right? So trading plan, I'm going to revise that and post in the Telegram group as and when I have better uh, visibility. But for now, when the market is going to open, I will still be looking for bearish opportunities because we have this gap available and this W pattern is complete, but it can still fall down. Why? Because we have a bigger W pattern and that profit target has not been completed. So all of these levels, which you can see on your screen, are going to be still available to you, and they can still act as support, and they can still act as your profit targets if you're shorting. If the market starts to go above this 1806 and it shows good structure, it shows um, good momentum, then I will look for long positions, and in that case 1830 level or so is going to be my target area, and we already have that mapped. So this is the liquidity zone and this is the structure where we can come to. There are a few levels here in the middle, and I will post them later in the Telegram group or in the other social media like Twitter and LinkedIn if available. But for now, I will wait for the market to open. I will still maintain my bearish bias on this 4 hour and daily time frame. And if market starts to go down and if I get a confirmation, then I will stick to my bearish targets, any of these targets. But I'm expecting a support around this area here. This is a structure zone which has already been broken, so market can actually fall down to this. And once market has gone there, then I will reanalyze and see what the market is going to do. So next week is going to be very, very important because this is the last week of the month, and there are a lot of factors which are happening in the market. So beware if anything starts to happen in indices in the stock market or crypto market, then gold can actually start to rise very heavily. So make sure that you follow the plan. You watch. You trade what you see, okay, and keep an eye on other markets as well, because they can, it's all about money flow. If the market, if stocks or a share market and starts to go down, then investors will be looking to park their money or move their money to somewhere else, and they usually find some kind of safe havens. Gold has been a safe haven for a long period of time, gold and silver, but we now have cryptos as well. So you never know where the money is going to go because we have 3 4 areas now instead of having 2 areas. We have stocks, we have gold and precious metals, and then we have cryptos. So one of them is going to definitely rise if other is starts to go down. So make sure that you are still keeping a tab on other markets as well, and that is going to be of extreme importance in the last week of this month. So watch out, trade only what you see, manage your risk. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great trading week. If you enjoyed this analysis, make sure to hit the like button and share it with other traders and trading communities because they can also benefit from this analysis. Have a great trading week. Thank you for watching. Find and follow us on these social media channels.